Hey guys, dating life gone pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies.
Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. While you're rocking with us at Toxic Radio, don't forget to check us out on social media.
I want details, and I want them right now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Now you're talking, brother.
Chat with us, keep up on news. Just don't make it weird. Don't be a stalker. Don't be that guy.
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.
Toxic Radio. Get infected. Hey, buddy.
Raw.
Hey, man, that's a sweet Heavy Metal Happy Hour t-shirt. Where'd you pick that up?
Thanks, dude. I got it at the Toxic Radio shop.
Toxic Radio has a shop?
Yeah, dude. It's in the app. Or online at toxicradio.net.
That is sweet.
Yeah, and I also got a rockin' Toxic Radio hoodie and a Red Band Underground shirt. Dude, I'm gonna look so rockin' at the party tomorrow.
Well, I think you look pretty now.
Oh, wait, what?
The Toxic Radio shop is a place to get all your Toxic Radio gear. Shirts, hoodies, stickers. Find it at toxicradio.net or on the app. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. Hey, where you going, man?
Welcome to Show 40, Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Gene Walzak, and to my right, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Scholastic Uncle Shally.
What's going on, boys?
What's happening? He's got 75 nicknames at this point.
I do.
To my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College, Cottrell.
Let's go.
He's rocking the Browns jersey.
Yes, sir, because, you know, somebody's going to be on my list later on.
Who's 21? Denzel Ward?
Come on, bro.
I'm kidding. Well, we can get him on the show, man. Let's get it popping. All right. So this is Show 40. This is Show Gal Sayers, Show Sean Kemp, Rain Man dunking on him. We got a lot to get into. First thing we got to talk about is Conor, though, man. We're talking about UFC. We're going to recap that. We got the NBA Finals, MLB. We're going to announce our bracket, what it's going to be. We'll have the bracket listed for next week. And our NFL corners list. Plus, we got a lot of obscure things to go over. The TBT, USA Basketball, the British Open. We'll recap Wimbledon. Got a ton. So let's get started.
Joker.
Let's get into it. Show 40. So Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier 3. It didn't live up to the expectations because Conor broke his ankle. I thought the first round was amazing. It's a fun first round. Conor caught him again with a left hook. Got a guillotine in. And it's very debatable. Very debatable. A lot of people think Dustin kind of cheated with the toes in the cage.
I mean, legally, yes, he did, but that happens so often. And Herb said something about it, and there wasn't much Herb could do. And then, you know, at that point, he got free. But I am open to the debate, though.
I'm just interested in it because, like, I talked to so many people, and so many people have different opinions on it, and I want to share ours. But like, there's some opinions that are like, oh, I told you Dustin was going to win, you know, Dante. And then there's other opinions that are like, I wish I would have seen a second round. And, like, to me, I felt like it was a 10-9 Dustin round. But, like, that didn't change how I thought the fight was going to go.
The thing that's crazy is that two of the judges had that first round is 10-8.
For Dustin?
10-8 Dustin. Two judges in that fight had it 10-8 Dustin.
That's a travesty.
One had it 10-9 Dustin.
How do you score that a 10-8 round?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Conor was winning stand-up.
Conor won the first 3 minutes of the round. I mean, until the takedown. And
I don't see.
The ground and pound wasn't even, again, like, from rewatching the parts of it that I rewatched, there is so much of his ground and pound that did not land. And then it's funny. Somebody else brought a good point too. And they were like, other than his ear, like look at him when he's sitting there. Like he wasn't cut. He wasn't bruised. He wasn't swollen. He blocked a lot of it. I mean, granted, Dustin's in control there. He's going to get points for that. He's going to get points for the takedown and so forth and so on. I'll get into
somebody really had that 10-8?
Two people did. I don't know how. Again, that's what I mean.
What are you watching?
The stand-up was completely, for the most part, one-sided before they went down on the ground. So,
and the only reason they went down on the ground is because Conor thought he had him in a guillotine, and was trying to flip him over. And to be fair, the only reason he didn't flip him over and lock the guillotine in fully was because Dustin put his toes in the cage. I'm not saying he would have locked it up. I'm not saying it would have been finished.
I think, to Cottrell's point, though, I don't know what the course of action is there. You can't stop the fight and let Conor put him in a guillotine and then restart the fight. I just don't. To Herb's defense, I just don't know.
Right.
At minimum, you let him stay. You stand him up after Dustin gets out of the guillotine.
You would still argue that's a disadvantage to Conor, though, at that point in the position that he's in.
And
it was under him.
The other thing, though, too, is that Herb told him, basically hey, cut it out. And then by that point, he was out, out of the position, and so he didn't have to do it anymore. So, technically, he listened to Herb, so Herb couldn't, favor Conor in that situation. But
it's not about favor. I just
I
thought
I know.
It wasn't the worst decision Herb made all night.
Oh my God! Don't get started on that. Mike's got a picture of it. He's gonna throw that up. Look at this. See the toes locked in? It looks like he's gonna get flipped over. And if you're watching at home, it really looks like that's what stopped him from getting flipped over.
He got even more vertical than that at one point.
Yeah, he was
straight up and down at one point. Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I mean, listen. I think,
and if he gets flipped over there,
he's done.
Well, even if he's not done, even if Conor doesn't finish the guillotine, because I don't want to say that, but even if he flips over, there's no way Conor loses that round.
Now, if he gets flipped over, worst case scenario, Conor's probably on top.
Correct.
I mean, it's a bad spot for Dustin to be in at that point.
Correct.
Listen, I think if you listen,
not a lot of people talked about that.
I think if you listen to Dana's comments after the fight, to your point, I think it's a shame when you get a second round, because that the way the pace they were going at and just how much action was in the fight. I mean, they were both going for it. I mean, there was no kind of feeling each other. I mean, they were going. I mean, that had a chance to be a very good fight. It's a shame the way it ended.
I feel terrible for Conor. I love Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier, very good human being, good guy. You could tell how angry and how triggered Conor got him. I think someone needs to let Dustin know that this shit talk is just the part. This is why you're getting paid, dude. Even if I don't think Conor means some of the shit that comes out of his mouth.
Conor knows how to sell a fight. He knows how to sell a fight. The biggest reason, you see with Colby too, they tap into that WWE style of entertainment, and that is what sells fights. I mean, when you have guys, when you're on the stage and you're saying crazy shit, and you have guys throwing water bottles across, conference rooms of people, that is what gets people hype. It makes people want to watch a fight. It's what's making Dustin Poirier a ton of money right now. And he knew that because he took the fight over the title fight. Again, I think you've seen parts of Conor, when he's not in Conor mode per se. He's a good father. I mean, you've seen him being respectful of other people. Conor's never going to kill anybody. Dustin needs to calm down a little bit. If that's what Dustin needs to do to get himself.
Okay. I want to hear you disagree.
People have said way worse. Actually,
I want to hear your counterpoint.
The thing is that when you have Conor talking about your wife, in the octagon, in front of 20,000 people, you got it.
She was in his DM.
Yeah, dude.
Screenshot of that.
I mean,
now she might have said "screw you" or whatever.
You have no clue what she said. You have no clue how long ago that was. There's context behind that. Calling her names and everything. That's just.
The only difference is, here's the thing: if you want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say she was messaging me yo, keep my family out of your mouth, whatever you want to say. Here's the problem, and you can see it by Dustin's reaction. He didn't know about it. So when Conor brought it out, that's what triggered Dustin, because Dustin had no idea what was going on.
That part of it, I'm fine. Hey, your wife was in my DMs. That part of it, I'm fine with. But when you're vividly calling her names in the octagon, that is taking it a step too far.
The worst part was when they asked Dustin about it afterwards. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not worried about that part.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the fact that he said he was going to put me in a coffin, like murder me. There's no coming back from death."
I mean, again, it's a metaphor. It's not Conor saying he wants to murder Dustin Poirier. I mean, he's got to calm down a little bit. And listen, I think Dustin needs that to get to a point to fight Conor. I think he's realized that between the last two fights, he can't go in there and be Mr. Nice Guy and fight Conor.
I think he just wants to really fight him.
Correct.
I think Conor really triggered him.
Yeah, agreed. And I think
like he's fighting angry.
No, yeah, for sure.
And I think to fight Conor, sometimes you have to fight that way.
I don't know. Fighting angry in the UFC, that's how you get put on your back. And
not if you know how to harness it.
I gotta give Dustin credit though. Dustin's only lost to Khabib in like the last 4 years.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, and again, I think the way that fight went, I think it would hit every making of being a very, very good fight. And if you listen to Dana afterwards,
I think everybody outside Dante wants to see a fourth one.
Agree, and it's probably gonna make even more money because I would assume if Dustin gets past Oliveira, whatever
shit talk's gonna be even better.
Whenever Conor comes back, I mean that's gonna be, I heard something else too. It has the chance to be the first matchup that ever goes 5 fights. And it does.
Yeah, because Conor wins.
If Conor wins the 4th one, they're going to run it back a 5th time.
I would like to see that fight ultimately be for the belt.
Am I the only one that gets a little bit annoyed when like fighters get wins? I don't think I feel like a referee should be able to rule like doctor stoppage, like on something like that, like the Anderson Silva fight, like this fight. Maybe I'm being weird or silly here, but like I hate the fact that he gets like a TKO win there.
Well, the only problem with that would have been if that's the case, they're not going to call it a no contest. So at that point, they would go to the cards anyway, and Conor would have lost.
It's fair.
Anderson, I think, was winning that fight when that happened.
It was early. It was early. It was like really early.
Yeah. So again, while I do agree with your sentiment though, like if something like that happens in the 4th round, I don't think it should be a TKO. I think it should go to the cards. And
if it happens in the 1st round, I don't think it should be a TKO.
Yeah, but you can't give Dustin Poirier no contest there.
But my thing with it though is in that situation, I do agree with you because there was no contact. Conor stepped back and stepped on his foot and completely broke it.
Swore that he cracked.
If you look at it it definitely wasn't on a check.
I agree.
If he did it at all, he did it on that last kick right before it happened when he went to kick Dustin in his right side on his ribs and it hits his elbow. If it happened at all, it probably happened there.
It's fair. Now if he does it like on a check kick, I get.
Yes. That's where I was getting at. Like the Anderson fight, Chris Weidman checked the kick, and that's ultimately what happened.
Timmy Todd on the wire line asked how would it affect betting. Dustin Poirier just wins. Like that, it's one as a TKO. Now if it's my way, I think it should be a no contest. Everybody gets a refund. That's just, and this is just me spitballing bullshit right now. Like,
that's you bringing up your demons from.
But then again, though,
you're correct, Sarah.
The same thing. If you bet Chris Weidman by TKO over Anderson Silva, and that happens within the first 40 seconds, though, do you really deserve that? You
don't.
I'm with you, but again, that's all going to depend on the sports book's balance sheet,
of course.
And they have their miniature writing fine print for a reason.
So Conor's out for a year.
Easily.
Yeah, for sure,
Easily.
at least.
I really think it's about a year. Because it's going to be, the surgery's already done. It's about 3 to 4 month recovery.
Yeah, but it was a complete
clean break. So, I mean.
Bro, I had compound fracture. Bro, I promise you, 3 to 4 months.
To some degree, that's a good thing.
Then I'll start training again.
Yeah,
correct, yes,
for sure.
You're right,
so, he said he's, in a boot for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, again, nothing towards you, but I mean, he's in different shape. His body's going to heal faster.
What?
I mean, yeah.
He's in better shape?
Yes.
It only took me 3 to 4 months.
So you figure we'll call it August.
I think me and Conor are the same shape. Like,
I mean, you can see him next summer, maybe.
I think Conor can take Ronda.
I think Conor can take me with his broken ankle.
I might take that too.
All right, so Dustin Poirier versus
Oliveira.
Who do you like in that fight?
I'm going to lean Dustin, but I think it's I think people are going to sleep on Oliveira in that fight, and I think it's a good fight. I think it's a very good fight.
You?
Oliveira is so technically sound.
Dustin still knocks him out.
I think I like Oliveira in that one.
Dustin knocks him out.
I think it's
third round.
If that's a fight, if it's a fight that goes to the ground, it definitely favors Oliveira.
Of course.
Dustin's knocking him out in the third round.
I think they're both very clean strikers. The only thing I worry about Dustin is coming off the high of this. Like it's you know, I know you're going to fight for the belt and he's going to be motivated, but it's going to be different. He's not going to have that build up to this like he did with Conor.
I completely disagree.
We'll see.
If it wasn't a championship fight and he was just fighting another guy and there was like that hype up thing, it's a championship fight.
We'll see.
And Dustin's never been the unanimous champion.
Yeah, but you could argue, who knows what really went into the whole behind the scenes thing? Because I'm sure Dana probably talked to Dustin like, "Hey, do you want a title shot or do you want to fight Conor?" And so,
he flat out said he wanted Conor.
Yeah, of course. No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Dustin on the other hand might be like, you know, Oliveira isn't even really the real champ here. Like, I should have fought for, like, I would have been the champion if I didn't want to fight Conor. So I don't think Dustin is going to disrespect Oliveira, but mentally he may be there like, hey, I'm better than this kid already.
Okay, so any other thoughts on the UFC card that you want to add?
I hope. That Greg Hardy pretty much made my night.
I'm
sitting right next to you. The only thing that ruined it was, you know, the ending of the Conor fight.
Correct.
Obviously, it went down, but up until that point, I mean, I don't want to say it was the best fights ever. They were all entertaining, though.
Yeah.
Sugar Shane fight was...
He broke his hand and his foot on that guy's face.
It was insanity.
You know what's crazy?
That dude is a zombie.
Sugar Show has a longer medical suspension than the kid that he fought, Chris Martino.
Bro, speaking of that.
Well, we'll see.
It already came out.
No one used Herb. Like, that's not one of your...
What?
Herb Dean.
No.
Okay. That's a joke. The fact that he stopped that fight. I need to say that out loud. Because that should not grow as a TKO on that kid's record.
It definitely was a joke, but I am not going to lie. He may have saved some years in that kid's life.
Oh, no. Come on, bro. He threw a punch literally the second before.
No. I'm not saying he was out. I'm just saying, like, that kid
there's nothing you could tell me that he saw something different between him taking punch 244 and 245 that he had to stop the fight.
Correct.
If it's in the third round, that's fine. Or, I mean, if it's in the first round, it's fine. There's 30 seconds to go in that fight.
Look, I agree.
Let the kid finish the fight.
That's a Herb Dean blunder. But he was getting his face beat in.
But he was getting his face beat in for the first 14 minutes of the fight.
He was. He showed up
he never stopped defending himself.
He showed up to camp Monday morning.
He took it on a week's notice. I mean,
you see all the people like walking up, shaking his hand afterwards.
As they should.
Yeah.
O'Malley
Dana said he's getting another fight.
O'Malley's first line out of his mouth was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
Respect. We were talking about that live.
We both said it when it happened. I said if the first thing out of his mouth isn't respect for that kid, then he's missing an opportunity. And it was literally the first thing he said.
O'Malley is out for 6 months, so we won't see him the rest of this year. He's medically out for the next 6 months.
Well, I mean, he's, again, broken bones.
Broke his foot and his hand on the guy's face.
Dude.
Like, what?
What?
The other kid's a zombie. He is
that guy's
zombie.
There's no way that kid did not have meth in his system.
The only thing
nothing you can convince me otherwise.
I wanted to mention it really quick. Islam Makhachev.
I saw it today.
He's fighting this upcoming week. He's a guy in lightweight division that people are literally ducking. He's like Khabib 2.0 that's a little bit better at striking. Like from Dagestan and everything.
We need to relax with that a little
bit.
No,
he's not as good on the ground. No. But like
Khabib 2.0 but better striking. That sounds
so he fights exactly the same as Khabib, but he has better striking. And people are completely ducking him. He's number 9. He's number 9 right now, lightweight. And
who's he fighting?
I don't know. Somebody's gonna beat.
Somebody's gonna kill.
But literally, people are
1,200.
Basically, they're coming out. Reports are saying like people are ducking him completely. So I can't wait till he gets to the top of the totem pole and we see him really blossom. But he fights this Saturday, and I'm excited for it.
Did anybody win more fans Saturday night than Bam Bam? No. That dude,
superstar in the making.
Wow,
I love him.
I don't know if he's a good enough fighter.
That was good versus evil right there.
It was.
And the fact that he came out the Spice Girls, can we not talk about that for 10 seconds?
There's got to be some point if you're in the octagon waiting for that dude to come in and he comes out to that. Like,
so tell me what you want. What
mentally,
you really
at some
want.
point, you have to be like, this dude has
nuts.
Like
drinking beers out of people's shoes that he doesn't know who they are.
Gives like no fucks in the world about what's about to happen in this octagon.
I love him.
Like, Yeah, I mean that dude won a lot of fans. I mean, hey, listen,
it's my boy.
I'm hoping that's the end of Hardy. I mean, I don't think you can realistically say that.
I throw him in there with Derek Lewis just so Derek Lewis can kill him.
You can't, you just can't risk it.
They want to fight each other, and they're both big names.
Yeah, but
headline a fight night.
You can't give him a title shot.
You can't headline a fight night with a guy who's fighting for an interim title right now.
You're right.
The guy who just got knocked out.
Just want to see Derek Lewis kill him.
I agree.
It's almost like bully beatdown.
Yeah, I mean the only problem with
You ever
that
watch that show?
Listen, especially with heavyweights, man. I mean, you risk.
You just never know.
Ugh.
I just hate Greg Hardy.
So do I. I just don't want him to be in the UFC anymore.
If you don't know why we hate Greg Hardy,
just Google Greg Hardy. It'll pop
Google
up.
him, and he beat a woman up, threatened her life. Like he's not a good person.
No.
All right, let's move on to the NBA Finals.
Still played for the Cowboys somehow. Though.
Yeah, well, that's the Dallas Criminals.
Dallas Criminals.
And if any Criminals fans are listening, let me know. NBA Finals.
Richard Sherman will be signed, but tomorrow probably.
So overreaction. No, he won't. Overreaction to Game 3 has been all over Facebook, Twitter, ESPN shows.
What overreaction?
What reaction are we talking about?
Milwaukee's going to win the series. Milwaukee in 6.
I don't know how much of an overreaction that is.
I don't think that's an overreaction.
I still think Phoenix wins, but
okay. Well, let me explain why it's an overreaction.
I think it's going to be a better series than I thought it was going to be.
Okay, so before the series, you had Phoenix in 6, right?
Yep.
So did I. So did you. So if you have Phoenix in 6, what changed in Game 3?
I mean, just the way that the Milwaukee played. Like it looks like they
won a game they had to win at home.
No. It's not about them winning that game at home. It's about the way that they looked. If they continually put together that kind of strategy, they're going to be in good shape.
You can't. Giannis got every freaking call in the book.
You can't say that because Phoenix literally got every call in Game 1. They had 26 free throws to the Bucks 16. You can't say that. That's a home court kind of thing.
And again, it's going to come down to them going to Phoenix and winning a game. So even if you want to give everything in Milwaukee, I don't know. You're going to be really hard. I don't care how big of a Milwaukee fan anybody is. You'd be really hard pressed to make an argument for me to say they're going to go to win a Game 7 in Phoenix. Like I just don't see that.
The reason I have it in 6,
but
I have Milwaukee winning tonight
I did 6 too.
I have Milwaukee winning tonight too. Then I have Phoenix winning Game 5 and Game 6. The reason some Game 6s are so tricky is because Game 6, when you're a road team that you're down 3-2 and everything's went to serve, is the most pressure-packed game because if you lose that game, you're done.
Yeah.
And those are the games where teams lose Game 6s at home.
In a generality, I agree with you, but I think if you look at the course of this playoffs in general with them being at home, I don't think that's going to happen with them.
Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have it in 7 now.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't think it's an overreaction to say, especially if they win tonight, that it's not a series. Like they look like a completely different team the other night.
Yeah, because
they had to.
The thing is, though, if you after Game 2, though, would you
say
it's an overreaction?
It's not like Phoenix let them win.
Phoenix did not play well.
Okay, you could argue Milwaukee didn't play well in the first 2 games.
No, Milwaukee played well in Game 2. They didn't play well in Game 1. Here's the argument. Ready?
100 points.
Well, follow me. Here's the argument right now. I think that game was a combination of Milwaukee playing at home in a game they had to win, Phoenix, a little fat, up 2-0, and Devin Booker playing like dog shit. Now, listen, a lot of the team played like dog shit, but Devin Booker's supposed to be their best scorer. Like, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton are not supposed to score more than Devin Booker. They do other things for the team. Chris Paul should lead the team in assist and not turn the ball over. DeAndre Ayton should lead the team in rebounds and get his 15 and 15 or 20 and
yeah, but how many Paul have Game 2?
23.
Yeah, I mean, and Ayton played out of his mind. I mean, so again,
correct.
So you could say Booker played bad, but
you could argue Booker hasn't played well.
He's only had one this series. He's had one decent game.
He had one decent half. Game 2, second half.
Yeah,
he shot terrible all 3 games. Game 2, second half, play well.
But they've won 2 games with him playing like that, and
so it's not an excuse to lose Game 3.
To his defense,
he
his numbers.
Worst game 3.
I agree with
3
that.
3 for 14.
I agree with that. But yeah, he only had 10 points. He also didn't play the fourth quarter. He plays the fourth quarter. His number, he's at 18, and they don't look as bad. He played bad, though. I mean, I'm not taking that away from him, but
you can't say he's at 18 if he has 10 through 3. he's pacing 12.5.
That's Devin Booker, though.
He keeps chucking up stuff that's going to go in.
Exactly.
9 of 3, 14. He's been shooting terrible. You know what's crazy? I'm telling you right now. If you look this statistic up, I guarantee it's something ridiculous. Before and after, it's like Christ, ready? Before and after the Stephen A. Smith comment calling him Kobe Bryant. Like, it's like that moment. Devin Booker was just like, oh, no. Hold my beer. This is not accurate. Like, that's crazy, no?
Well, I mean,
playing out of his mind.
Of course.
Stephen A. makes that comment.
I mean, Stephen A. says crazy shit, I'll tell you. I mean, he did it again the other day.
Yeah, this week proved that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's another one that I'm getting into. But
the one thing that I will say about Phoenix, though, is that, well, not even just about Phoenix, I don't want to say Game 3 is too much of an overreaction because there was a point in time where after Game 2, people were wondering, like, are they going to gentlemen sweep this team? Are they going to sweep this team?
Right.
Like, Milwaukee has
gentlemen
no
sweep
answer.
would still be available.
Yeah, no, it is. But the way they looked in Game 3, though, do you think that's going to happen?
I think Milwaukee wins. I
know you had it beforehand. I know you had it beforehand.
The whole time.
But I'm saying,
nothing changed to me.
If Game 3 went a little bit differently, would you not think? If Game 3 was really close and it came down to 2, maybe 4 points, would you not think that gentleman sweep was on the table?
So, yes and no. Let me give you a quick. I'll give you a quick 1-minute breakdown of that. So I watched that game in its entirety, and I watched it and I broke it down. Phoenix was winning that game in the second quarter with about 5-6 minutes left, and Milwaukee went on that stupid run to end the second quarter.
Giannis on the bench, Chris Paul on the bench.
Correct. So to start the second half, Phoenix came out and dominated. They got it all the way down to 4 or 6. I think it was like from 14 to 4, 14 to 6, and they had the ball. And then it's not Chris Paul's fault that they took him out of the game, but they take him out of the game. It goes back up to 11. They put him back in the game. It's at 18, and you could feel the momentum shift in that game, like it was. Oh man, I watched that game, and I don't come away from that game thinking Milwaukee's any different of a team, or Phoenix is any different of a team. I've seen this as Suns in 6. Before it started, and I knew Milwaukee was going to win Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of agreed there. The one thing though I will say that showed me something from Milwaukee's point of view was the way that they started playing the pick and roll towards the end of the second quarter and then into the second half. So they started trapping the guy, the ball handler on the pick and roll, and their rotations definitely got a lot cleaner. And I noticed that once they took Brook Lopez out of the game, they had a lot more flexibility on defense to trust each other and rotate to the ball carrier, the open man. So I like that adjustment from Budenholzer, and that was an adjustment that we hadn't seen in that Hawks series or even the series before that with the Nets. So that's the one thing where I'm like, maybe if they can sustain that, maybe they got a shot to win this series. I'm still going Suns in 6, but that's why I think they have more of a shot now because I saw that adjustment.
If you were around the horn, you would have got like 4 dings right there. I like that adjustment. I agree with you. Monty Williams has to make an adjustment, and the adjustment is Jay Crowder can't be sticking Giannis anymore. I love Jay Crowder. DeAndre Ayton's got to stick him.
Yeah,
because you got to let him shoot, and you got to put somebody bigger than him on him. Because he's abusing Jay Crowder.
The other problem you have, though, is that you don't want to get DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble.
I would say they tend to go very flat, and that runs you into the risk if Ayton's not on the floor and then Booker's not having a game. That's when they go very flat because they struggle to score.
Look, I'll tell you something right now.
My problem is if you're gonna let him shoot, which I agree is the right thing to do. If he starts making shots and then Ayton's got to come out there, then that's when you're opening up for Giannis to go score 45.
I'm not gonna lie to you
because he's not
scored 40 twice.
I don't think I'm okay if Giannis is hitting 3-point shots.
I know.
I am okay. If I lose, hey, kudos to you guys. I think the bigger issue is you don't want DeAndre Ayton getting in foul trouble because Giannis is gonna, no matter who's on him, no matter what's in front of him, if the double's coming or not, he's putting his head down, he's going to the rim. You don't want DeAndre Ayton getting in foul trouble early, especially if Devin Booker can't score.
Well, first of all, the Suns have to have Devin Booker score.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. But Mike Budenholzer made a very, 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 very key comment after Game 1, talking about the officiating. Monty Williams made that same comment,
after
very
Game 3.
similar after Game 3, talking about the officiating. I hope for the rest of the series you see NBA playoff officiating. I think that Game 1, Phoenix was getting every call. It was in Phoenix's house. They were. And I'm rooting for Phoenix, but I watched them get every call. I think Game 3 was the exact same thing.
I do too.
When Giannis is getting those ticky-tack fouls by the rim, where the guy's just barely touching him and he's getting the N1, it's got to be playoff basketball. And, to my point I'm going to get to later, and I won't ruin it now, but that's something the United States basketball needs to figure out. That's something that this NBA has really screwed up for these players when they play internationally. These touch, swing through bullshit fouls, they're just not basketball. If you're playing, I know it's not street ball, it's professional basketball, but if you're playing street ball, you're not. I hate the drawing foul part of the game. It's almost like the shift in baseball, and I know you probably disagree with me, but my point being is, I hate that things that take away from the game.
Yeah, I mean, nobody shows up to watch players shoot free throws.
That's correct.
I mean, listen. I mean, I'm on record numerous times on numerous things. I hate how soft and gentle the NBA is now compared to what it used to be. And there's no reason for it to be. Again, I think if you just started calling it a certain way, the players would adjust and you would have a way better product. But they don't want to do that. So this is what we're stuck with.
They're about to get exposed, though. And I know you're going to get into it more, but they're about to get exposed. But the whole time with the Olympics coming up, you're going to see a lot more conversations, and I'm okay with that.
Good. I'm good with it, too. You know what? Team USA is going to win the gold. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah.
With that being said, I wouldn't be upset if they didn't. And I wouldn't be upset if they didn't for the specific fact that they don't get those ticky-tack bullshit James Harden calls. James Harden ain't playing, and I'm still picking.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wouldn't be upset. Any other comments on the NBA Finals? Who do you like tonight?
I like the Bucks tonight.
So do I.
I like the Bucks, but tight.
So do I.
It's not going to be anything like it was the other night.
I agree. I think Phoenix.
I think Booker has a good game tonight.
I think Phoenix blows an 8-point second half lead.
And I think
by 3.
I think Monty actually did the right thing with benching him the other night.
Look, you're down 20, 25. No reason for him to be out there.
It wasn't. I mean, they had it back down to like 10 to 1 point, and Paul and all them came back in. He never put him back in. I think that was very telling. And to his defense, he was still involved in the game. He was still rooting everybody on.
He was.
And there was a point where he was sitting next to Monty on the bench for like 4 or 5 minutes. He was talking to him. I think it's a good game. I think you got a good game from Devin Booker tonight. Again, I think the Bucks pulled out. I think it's close.
Great comment by D. Godfrey. Do you mind throwing that up for me? And I agree with this 100%. The NBA gives the home team more foul calls, and the NBA has so many floppers that I think I'm watching soccer sometimes. Let me give a really small, cheap plug. Taking It Back with D. Godfrey is on Toxic Radio tomorrow night at 6:30 or 6 o'clock. It's a really good show.
He had a really good show last week.
He's had a really good few shows. So, like, if you're looking for a fun, funny, awesome show with a couple guys talking, it's normally Thee and Mike. It's a great show. Tune into it. But let's get back to what we're talking about. You like the Bucks tonight too, right?
Close though, yeah.
I said 116, 113.
Yeah,
and I think Phoenix blows an 8-point second half lead. I don't think we'll get to double digits, but I think it'll be 8 points. I think it's going to be like 97-91, and they lose 116, 113.
9 o'clock start time. I mean, it's good for us because we're able to get home and watch like the second half.
Let's go.
But
wrap it up now.
It's going to end at freaking midnight.
I'm good with it.
And why is there 2 days off between every game now?
No, it's not. Is it?
Yes,
no, they last played on Sunday. I don't know why they're playing today.
They did it because of the All-Star
game.
I think they play the Saturday is the next game, which is the travel day.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. You get the extra day for travel.
But I think after that, it's every other. I think it's Saturday, Monday, Wednesday.
Nope, they play Tuesday. We get the next game after Saturday would be Tuesday.
And after that, Friday probably.
No, it's actually Thursday.
Oh, that's surprising.
I don't think they want to do it on a Friday night in the summer. I mean, I get it, but it's on ABC too, so they're gonna put it on during the week.
Also, Kevin the Troll said LeBron James is the biggest flopper in the league.
Yeah, we'll get to him later.
Yeah, it's fine. When he is the leader of the league.
No, not LeBron.
Oh, I get it. When we get, are you using that?
Yeah.
I love it.
100%.
Love it. Done.
Did you tell him yet?
No.
Oh,
let it be.
fantastic. Fantastic.
He said, Travis has said that's almost a slight at soccer. But when you have stars like LeBron, Harden, etc., flopping
Chris Paul,
and creating a bad new direction that needs to be addressed.
Chris
and
Paul
adjusted.
is guilty. Listen,
Chris Paul's top 5 flopper in the league.
Here's what I'll tell you.
The only thing I don't like about
this is what I need to do. It is comparable, but for soccer, you know this too. Like all the stars in soccer do it. Ronaldo will flop. He doesn't do it as much as he used to. Messi's a big flopper. The biggest problem with the NBA is they came out with a program to discourage it, and they haven't lived up to it. This actually started becoming a problem in hockey like 3 or 4 years ago, and now there's actually you can actually draw a penalty,
Correct.
But there's an embellishment penalty now. So if you get hit and then you go down and you got hit in the eye or something, and the refs see it, you'll get 2 minutes too. Just start finding guys. Start suspending guys.
I love the change in rules that they did already,
and it goes away instantly.
Rule.
I would love to see that. You flop. The other team gets 2 free throws.
It'd be perfect.
Oh. Be amazing.
It would be amazing.
I like that.
I am glad they're getting rid of the kick out rule and the embellishing like drawing contact. Like it's so annoying to watch.
Okay, so anything else NBA?
No, I mean I think it's gonna be a good game tonight. We'll see. For our sake, I hope it's 2-2 go back to Phoenix.
I kind of hope it goes 7 with the game being on, because the last game is on Thursday and we'd actually get a chance to talk about it next week.
I hope it goes 6 because I'd be right.
I mean, yeah, we'd all be right, but I kind of want to talk about it if,
There's nothing better than a Game 7. I would love to be able to preview Game 7 the night before.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Something to work out date-wise for us once. Never thought
I would love to go out Thursday night and watch it together, live stream it.
Maybe that too.
All right, so MLB had the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, and then we have our Mid-Season Awards, because this is the perfect time to do Mid-Season Awards. You're at the All-Star break. First, I want to get into the Home Run Derby.
Didn't disappoint.
No, it didn't. I don't like, I'm going to give you one thing I don't like, and I'm going to move forward to how much I like the Home Run Derby. I hate that they don't wait anymore till the ball lands. I think
it does take away from it.
Well, because you're not being able to track the ball. Like each ball is hit.
Mm-hmm.
You're like missing like the whole like follow of the ball, how far it goes. I thought that was huge. And the second thing that bothers me, it really gives a strategic advantage to certain players. Let me give you an example. The first round, Matt Olson went against Mancini. I'm not kidding with you. If I bet you if I DVR'd that and watched that again, Mancini's seen 15 to 20 more pitchers.
That's part of the strategy, though.
Correct. And I feel like, listen, I would prefer go back to the end of the day where you get 10 outs and you swing at whatever you want to swing at.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. The problem is what has kind of made it have like a comeback in the last couple of years is them once they switched over to the timed rounds. And you just see people swinging like animals for 2 straight minutes, and you hit as many as you can hit. Because the only problem is you get some of these, again, they're major league hitters. They are so good. Like they sit there and are, to watch a guy get 10 outs. If a guy gets 10 outs and all of a sudden he has a round of 20, it's like a half-hour round of a home run derby. And it's what if you're there in person, it makes no difference. It's awesome. But when you're watching it on TV, the viewership is starting to go down. They need, and what they did is, and it was their goal, they try to make it kind of more like the 3-point contest. It was timed event, go out, you hit as many as you can hit. That was kind of what their goal was, and they've kind of done it.
Yeah, but the 3-point contest still has like a certain amount of balls.
Right, but there's no saying. I'm saying it's like, I'm not saying it's exactly, but I'm saying they want
I get it, but
could
you imagine if everybody could shoot as many 3-pointers as they can within 3 minutes?
I get it, dude.
The person that has the quickest release would win, not the person that's the best shooter.
It's about making it easier to watch, and
it's fair.
They feel
I mean, everybody's got an opinion. I get it.
They feel like they've accomplished that, and the viewership, I mean, it's been steady. It's gone up for the last couple of years, and it's stayed there. So
Pete Alonso. So you want to talk about a guy?
He's a freaking animal, dude. He's built for it. I mean, the part of the interview came out last week where he said, last year, he would have rather won the home run derby than the rookie of the year.
You want to hear something crazy? Pete Alonso has made more money winning 2 home run derbies than he's
done. He's on a very team friendly rookie deal still.
He's won more money on 2 home run derbies than he's done
3
in
years
salary.
in the MLB.
That's wild. It's like 1.8 million, like 600,000 a year.
Mhm.
And
2 million for the derby.
home run derby.
He gives an arbitration after next year.
He'll get a lot.
He'll start making a ton of money.
I mean, he was crushing the ball.
He's built for derbies. He has a very short swing. He's a strong kid.
The over 514 hit too.
Yeah.
514.5 was the over under.
A couple times. I saw
the longest one, Juan Soto.
I saw it at 518. That hit too, because I think somebody hit one 520 or 522.
Juan Soto hit one 520. It's the longest home run in Derby. How about him upsetting Ohtani? That was a great first round, back and forth. Ohtani started off, didn't hit a home run in the first 2 minutes, and then you thought there's no doubt about he was going to win it.
The more I thought about it,
9 in a row.
Ohtani really isn't. He's really not a Derby guy. If you think about it,
he won the Derby in Japan.
If he's not taking batting practice though, like all these other outside at least, if he's not taking batting practice outside, like he doesn't know how those stadiums are. Like the other guys have, I would say, more of an advantage than a guy who's literally not hitting in these parks. I'm not saying he didn't do that for the Derby, but like all season,
I think he had the jitters. Everyone was looking at him.
Yeah, I mean,
first minute of the Derby, he had no home runs, and then once he caught a groove, like he couldn't miss. He had 22 home runs.
I think to Bill's point too, though, he's a in-game performer. Like he hits the ones that are fast, and who knows if he's any good at It took him a while to get adjusted to hitting the slow balls to him.
We're going to talk about the fact that they kind of cheated Olsen. Like, give it like 3 seconds, because that's kind of BS.
Yeah, I think it's...
Mancini's was after the buzzer, and Olsen hit one after the buzzer.
Yeah.
It didn't count. I get it. You beat cancer. You deserve an extra second.
I'm not going to... I mean, Cottrell would probably argue that, because he has no heart, but...
Rules are rules.
There he is. I don't know. I seen it, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't a... Wait, what? And then Olsen hit one, and they were like, no, it was after the clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? Because I really want to see Matt Olsen hit another round.
There's a lot, dude.
His batting practice pitcher did him no favors.
No, listen, that's an equally as important part of it as anything else. To sit there and throw rapid fire like that and try to keep it within the same couple of miles per hour so they can keep their same timing and throw it where they want, where they can take the same swing over and over. That is not easy.
Pete Alonso had Grandpa throwing that ball in there perfectly, bro. Same spot every time. Grandpa's in there, bang, 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 bang.
2 for 2.
Dude, and the best part of it was, did you hear him say he warmed up and he did a round at Citi Field, with the BP pitcher?
Oh yeah, they most of them do. Most of them once you get within a week and a half.
He said, "How many did you hit?" It was a sunny day in Citi Field. Citi Field's one of the biggest ballparks.
It's huge.
And he goes 30.
Yeah,
in one round.
Listen, I mean, I think a crazier stat was I never realized nobody's won more than 3 of them, and Griffey's the one that's won 3. I would be hard pressed to say that's probably going to fall.
It probably will, but Griffey just stopped doing them.
He did.
Griffey could have won 5.
All right, it was his choice. He didn't want to anymore.
It's like a slam dunk contest.
Can't penalize.
Once you win 2-3 in a row,
they're a joke anymore.
I agree.
Got to get your boy in there.
So, any other comments on Derby All-Star game that you want to talk about? Because I want to get into these mid-season awards because I'm hyped.
I picked the AL to win.
Yeah, I didn't. I picked the NL.
I picked NL too.
I only picked them because they lost 7 straight.
Now it's 8.
I like picking the big underdogs in the All-Star games because usually
they weren't huge.
I know, but everybody was picking the AL.
Correct.
Everybody was picking the AL.
I was the same way. That's why. Lost 7 straight. I'm like, they gotta win this one.
Win
this one for the Gipper.
Crazier thing is it's only the 3rd longest streak ever for wins that are. I think the NL has it with 11 or 12.
Yeah, you know why? Back in the 70s, I think it was in the 70s, 80s, early 80s. They used to really fight over what was the better league because one league was the DH, and another league was pitcher.
Yep.
Pete Rose was a huge part of that. They talk about that play at the plate, but they were all games were like that. All-Star games back then were like that.
I feel like people cared too because about getting home field in the World Series.
Well, no, not back then.
Well, not back then. I'm just saying in general. People care about
back then. It was just they had no interleague play, so it was just what league was better.
I'm better than you guys.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, you never played against each other. You would only play each other if you saw each other in the World Series.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into these mid-season awards because I cannot wait. MLB guys, share the podcast one more time. Put MLB up there because all the MLB guys need to hop on the message board right now because I want to hear your opinions too. We're going to go backwards. MVP is going to be last. Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. So we'll start with Rookie of the Year. Is that right, you guys?
That's fine.
I'll go one, Rookie of the Year, and then we'll spin around the horn. So Control go first next time, then Bill, and then whatever. Got it?
Yep.
All right. So for the Rookie of the Year, I have Trevor Rogers for the NL.
Same.
And I have Dallas Garcia for the AL.
Same.
We all have the same.
Yeah, I mean, those ones are...
They're not that easy. The NL is pretty easy.
I mean, Rogers is going to have to fall apart in the second half or get hurt for him probably not to win that. I mean, Garcia is pretty comfortable there, too. I mean, there's people that can catch him. But,
Garcia is pretty comfortable. Because it's either one.
Yeah.
There's two of them. Okay, so then we'll move on to Coach. This is going to be the one I think we get a little heated on.
Okay.
I'll just do one at a time. You start with yours. Coach NL Coach of the Year. That's it.
NL?
Yep.
Craig Counsell.
What?
Yep.
All right, well.
Do you see what I mean?
This pain.
I need you to understand like what you why.
I know I know who you guys are going to go with.
No. Just let us say.
I know who you guys are going with.
This literally pains my soul.
Pains your soul?
Well, it's going to pain yours too.
Yep.
But it's Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, I know.
There was
Giants. I understand.
They were a lot of publications picked him to finish last in that division. Nobody, no book, no, ESPN. Nobody picked him to win over 80 games. They have 55 already. He's done a great job with a team with a bunch of no-name guys on it. Brandon Crawford is their biggest star, if you want to say it.
And Buster.
Buster. Buster's always been a quiet guy. Buster's having another great year, though. Buster's back to where he was 3 or 4 years ago. Not a household name.
I mean, he's pitching his ass off.
I'm not disagreeing with you. If, he'd probably be in line for one of these other awards if the GOAT wasn't in the National League. But
Jesus, right?
Nobody knows who the hell he is, though. If you don't follow baseball, you're not gonna
how many people do you think, casual baseball fans, if they walked up and seen that guy on the street?
No,
we'll get into it.
Zero. He'd be like, this guy's buying food for his kids. And then nobody knows who he is.
I have Gabe too.
There's probably half the people in San Fran wouldn't recognize him.
Makes me sick to my stomach.
My thing with Gabe though is that I think there's a chance they finish third in that division. I just don't know if they're going to give it to a coach that finished third in his own division.
This is mid-season awards. This is
mid-season. It's where we are now.
No, I thought we were.
We're not doing predictions. It's mid-season awards.
Okay, I guess I had a different mindset.
Why are you picking Counsell?
I just thought towards the end of the year, my reasoning that I literally just gave, I think the Giants are going to finish third place in that division. Granted, I still think they're going to be in the playoffs, but I think in that situation, I'd pick Counsell over them. Brewers are going to win that division.
I mean, I think
they may have the best record in the NL once the season. They may.
Yeah, but that's a prediction.
Yeah,
so
that's where we differ.
Now I know what you did. Now I know where you went wrong. All right, Bill, you start this one. AL Coach of the Year.
I'm going to go with the guy that a lot of people thought he was going to.
No, you get that, Bill.
That was going to fail. I don't want this here. You can have that.
Yeah, you get that one.
Okay.
I hate the bell.
Bell means right. Buzzer means right.
This guy took a team that has a bunch of talent, kind of struggled to put it together for last year. A lot of people thought he was out of touch. And he has them with the second best record in the AL. I'm going to pick him because I'm simply not giving it to another person.
That's a fact.
So I'm going with Tony La Russa.
Oh.
Yeah, see? It's losing effect because you're struggling with it so much.
It is. The answer is Alex Cora.
Nope.
I understand he's a cheater.
Hold it down for 15 seconds.
But he was suspended. He did his time. He is back in baseball, and he's a manager of a team. And that team not only is the biggest surprise in baseball, they're leading one of the toughest divisions in baseball. The answer is Alex Cora. That's the correct answer. If you hate him and you don't want to pick him, it's like if the MVP of the league was Troy Aikman, I would find someone else to pick. I get it. I understand.
Troy Aikman didn't cheat and wreck the integrity of the game.
Yeah, do they got buzzers in Boston this year? Do we know?
I don't know. But my point being is he did his time. He took his suspension. And in reality, he's the best coach in baseball right now.
Whoa.
He is.
No.
I am going to go with somebody different than both of you. I'm going to go with the guy that we saw coaching last night, my man Kevin Cash. That Rays team isn't that great. I mean, yes, they have some.
That great. They were in the World Series.
They lost their top 2 pitchers.
I get it.
And they're in second place in that division. They're giving, Boston. Eventually they're gonna give Boston a run for their money.
They're gonna pass Boston.
And
agree.
Kevin Cash is doing a hell of a job there,
but it's not a prediction show.
He's my manager right now. I'm not going with Cora. I don't know if they're cheating or whatever. Nope, staying far away from him.
That one. I'll go Cash way before Cora. Cora can lick my ass. Not gonna anything for me.
Whoa, bro, you want a guy?
Oh,
this should be unanimous, so I'm gonna go first on the next one.
Okay.
If your NL Cy Young is not Jacob deGrom, you gotta leave.
Yeah,
you have to leave.
Don't listen to the show anymore.
Like if your NL Cy Young is not Jacob deGrom, you gotta go home. Like put the bottle down.
I feel Gossman, Woodruff, a couple other guys. I feel bad because they're having career years, and they have no shot at winning this award. 0 as of right now. I mean, anything could happen in the second half if he gets hurt or something, but that's pretty much the only way it's going to happen.
Agreed. So I will start with my first one, and I will go with the AL Cy Young.
Okay.
I have Lance Lynn.
I also have Lance Lynn.
Sticking with Cole.
What?
Garrett Cole. He had 1.5 bad outings, and then I really thought like there was something to
1.5?
The one.
He's got shelled by the Mets.
His last start was a 3-hit shutout against Houston.
Yeah, okay. The start before that, he got shelled by the Mets.
Okay, so he was 1. He had the start before that was like gave up like 4 and 6.
I get it. Lance Lynn doesn't pitch enough innings.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to win a Cy Young pitching 150 innings, which is what Lynn's on pace for.
I think if he gets 20 wins, it keeps his ERA under 2. It's gonna.
What is Travis talking about?
What do you say?
Travis, throw that comment back up there.
DeGrom pitches more.
What is he talking about? I'll read it out for the people on the podcast. If DeGrom pitches more innings, I'd agree, but he's the best 5 innings pitcher out there. He's averaging 7.5 innings per game.
Travis, are you drinking?
Travis, you think of somebody else? Are you thinking Lance Lynn?
You might be thinking about Lance Lynn. Travis, there's also 2 starts where he threw a complete game, 7-inning game, because they were part of a doubleheader. Where he was
he's still averaging over 7 innings a game.
Yeah, and he was at like 80-some pitches. So, I mean, if those games are regulation games, he's probably pitching complete games there.
Correct. That's
blasphemous.
It's ludicrous.
I don't know.
Well, all right, you start this one. NL MVP.
NL MVP. So, based on this new system we got here where we're just doing mid-season awards, got to go with Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom is my answer.
You just said him. Oh, bro. You can't change it up,
because I said it.
In your notes, you have Fernando Tatis.
That's the wrong answer now, too.
For the future, though, I think Tatis is going to get it, though.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think Tatis is going to end with MVP.
If DeGrom
that at least makes sense.
If DeGrom keeps pitching the way he is and the Mets win that division and make the playoffs, DeGrom's going to win it.
He said in the new system, I had no idea what he's talking about. I
got
it now.
San Diego doesn't make the playoffs, so I mean that division is going to be brutal coming down the stretch.
Tatis is going to end the season with 40+ homers. He's going to be right around 300. They'll probably give him MVP.
Yeah,
they're not going to just give him MVP.
No, they're not going to give it to him, but I don't think they give.
I'll tell you right now, if DeGrom gets to like 18 wins and he's still 1.5 and under ERA wise, and they're in the playoffs, he's your MVP. I'm telling you.
My NL MVP prediction for the year for his ACL. Sorry, it's really shitty news for anybody that's a fan of baseball because he's a very dynamic player to watch play baseball. Raul Acuna Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But the NL MVP right now for the midway point of the season is Jacob deGrom. And the Mets are in first place, and Jacob deGrom is literally the reason that they're in first place. Any arguments there?
Nope.
Not for me.
I mean, Tatis is a good, second at this point. He has a shot. It's not over for MVP like it is for Cy Young.
He's probably going to come in second. I think If San Diego can win that division somehow, then I think he has a shot. The other problem that's going to hurt him is that lineup is stacked, and his defense is killing him right now.
His defense got better how to get better from the first month of the season.
It's not. He's in the bottom 6 for all defensive shortstops.
He was last after April.
Okay, so let's all agree that he's not good at shortstop right now. However you want to cut it.
You're not saying he's winning the Gold Glove.
Well, I mean, it all factors in.
AL MVP, it comes down to 2 people, and Bill, you can go first.
I mean, it's Ohtani right now. I think what's going to hurt him down the stretch are 2 things, actually. Trout's going to come back soon. And I just don't, unless they do something drastic, picking up pitchers, there's no shot that team gets to the playoffs. So, again, we've seen it before with Trout winning them, with not making the playoffs. It's doable. He would have to keep up his pace throughout the entire second half to get there to do it. And Trout's probably going to level his numbers off a little bit. The problem is the guy that's in second, which is maybe who you're picking, I think needs similar help to get there. I think they would have to make a run to the playoffs. So I'm going to stick with Ohtani. That's who I'll go with for now. I mean, he's earned it so far.
Okay, so you think I'm going to go Vlad, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
And I still think Vlad might win it, and I'm very close to picking Vlad today. Because if Vlad had the Triple Crown right now, I would have picked Vlad. Ohtani is who I'm picking. Ohtani is the best draw in baseball right now. And I'm getting into it because I know none of us used it for our You Gotta Be Kidding Me.
I was going to. I just didn't feel like...
I'm going to get into it really quick, and I'll be really quick. Like, I don't care what kind of apology Stephen A. Smith wants to give. I watched that, and I watched his reaction and the way he said it. That was not an accidental thing. That was he thought it was funny. He thought it was clever.
He knew what he was saying.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a mistake. This was not like, oh, you took it the wrong way. That's not the way I meant it.
Nope.
His comments on Ohtani not being the face of baseball because he needs a translator are reprehensible. They're disgusting. You know how many people tune? You know, it's funny. The ratings came out today for the World Series, for the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
What the ratings significantly dropped after the second inning.
I believe it.
I know Ohtani. They wanted to see Ohtani pitch. They wanted to see Ohtani hit. The home run derby had great ratings because they wanted to watch Ohtani. They put him last intentionally because normally they don't have the 1 seed go last. They put him last intentionally because they correct. And yeah, man. I mean, Ohtani's the MVP of the league right now, and I think it will eventually be Vlad. But I think Ohtani's the MVP right now.
The one thing that they both have going for, well, Ohtani is already we're seeing that he's starting to be, the face. He's pitching, he's hitting, people are tuning in to watch him. Vladdy has his own appeal in a different way. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves his dad, and now he's doing everything that his dad was doing. He's hitting, monster home runs and,
Man, Vlad's got swag, man.
Yeah. He does.
The future of baseball being like guys like Vlad, guys like Tatis, Soto, Acuna.
Yep.
Like, man, the future's not. The future is bright in MLB.
I agree.
And I think that it needs a couple tweaks. One being the commissioner of the league.
Of course.
The second being they need to make it more hitter-friendly in a sense that the shift, I think they need to get rid of. I agree with him. It's the only thing I agree with Rob Manfred. Is getting rid of the shift, making the defensive players play on the dirt or play on the side of the field. And I'll listen to Bill's response.
No, I agree with you. The dirt thing doesn't bother me. You got to be on your side of the second base. That's all. I mean, if Bryce Harper's up and you want to play 5 feet in the grass, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I mean, but I agree with you on the shift.
I think that
pitchers are too good.
The big problem is the strikeout long ball type dynamic that the MLB has turned into.
Analytics.
It's kind of
not always a good thing.
It's kind of like the NBA getting rid of the mid-range shot. I mean, I know we still have some people.
I want to respond to
use
Keith real quick. He said, "Will Ohtani experience last for years to come?" And then I want you to repeat what you just said. I don't think so. And I love Ohtani, and I think that he could. It's just so tough for someone that pitches every fifth day and bats to stay healthy.
The only reason I'm going to disagree with you is everybody compares him to Babe. People forget that Babe would randomly play outfield. He would play first base a lot. He played in the field a lot. Ohtani does not play in the field when he's not pitching. I think the one thing they'll have going for him is he just DHs. So,
what will they do when he plays in the World Series? If he plays in the World Series in NL Park,
they put him in outfield.
They'll put him at first base.
I think left would be more suitable, but I get it.
They're gonna put him at first because they're outfield right now. Depends. JT Walsh is a better outfielder, so you're probably gonna put him at first. You'll try to hide Walsh and right. You'll Trout in center, and you'll have Upton and left.
I'm just thinking about it because of that situation.
I think with health and fitness and trainers and physio and all that stuff, I think it's more if there's ever a time where it's going to be sustainable for him, it's going to be now. They do monitor him. They do push his starts back every now and again. They push him back a day. Again, we're going to see. I mean, you're going to grind out through the dog days of summer now. You're going to start playing baseball in July, August, September, the hottest parts of the year. Plays in California. We'll see. I mean, I don't.
I just don't think it could last for years because of the dual purpose he serves.
I mean, but he's only pitching once every 5 or 6 days. I mean,
I get it.
I could see if you were like, oh, he's like a closer, like that would be different, where he's going to pitch 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know, man. I think he's a young kid. He's healthy. He's a big kid. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why not. I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to do this every single year. And again, he's benefiting a little bit from Rendon being hurt, Mike being out for a while.
I don't think he benefits from that.
He does in the aspect that he's getting more opportunities to do what he's doing. They flip-flopped him and Mike in the lineup depending on who they're facing. There's going to be nights he's going to protect Mike. There's going to be nights Mike's going to protect him.
Yeah, but if you have that as your 3, 4, 5, where everybody has protection for each other, I think that helps him.
Depends.
He gets more RBIs. He sees more pitches.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the order. Depends on the order.
I mean, I would probably go Trout, Ohtani, Rendon.
But they flip-flopped it a lot.
I get it.
And I think they've only played, I think they only had like 15 games where actually all of them are in the lineup because Rendon's been hurt like 3 times this year. Trout's almost gone for 60 games at this point. So
they put him on a 60-day deal.
Yeah, so I mean, he's eligible to come back soon. I know he's running and everything else, so we'll see. But
I can't wait to see Trout and Ohtani in that same lineup together right now
for a full year. I would love it. Too bad their pitchers are just absolutely dog shit. So
they could trade for one. They got plenty of talent.
They got traded for like 4.
They drafted 20, so
that is crazy. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Every one of their picks was a pitcher. That tells you how bad the pitching is in that organization.
Okay, so let's get into NFL cornerbacks. Let's move it to NFL. Okay, so guys, this is our list. We're going to continue going down, and next week's going to be linebackers. This week is cornerbacks. This was a really tough list. I think this is the first really tough list to get into because there's so many superstars that play this position. Kicker, punter was fun. Safeties were good, but there's really like a top 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
With corners, there's probably about 17 that could be on this list. We had to limit it to 10. We'll obviously do our 10 through 1 thing. And for 10, I have somebody who I probably underrate him a little bit. From the Washington football team, I have William Jackson III.
Oh, get out of here. William Jackson III is my number 10 as well. He's a guy he's going to play a lot of man coverage. He was the unsung hero of, him and Jesse Bates of the Bengals defense. But, I mean, that's a guy who will play bump and run and take your best receiver out of the game. Got to give a lot of credit to him.
I'm going Homer. I'm going Slay at number 10.
Okay.
I think he had a better year than a lot of people think last year. I think he had the things he gets torn apart for playing on an awful defense, and You look at the Seattle game, for instance, he covered DK Metcalf as well as you can. Russell Wilson literally put a couple balls within inches of where they had to be, or Slay would have knocked him down. I give him credit. He goes both sides. He will follow your top guy every snap of the game. There's a lot of guys on this list that don't do that. So
correct, I agree with you.
So I think he has to have a better year than he had last year, but I'll stick with 10. I still think he's a top 10 quarterback.
I don't disagree with you. I'm in my top 10, but I don't disagree with you. The thing about Jim Schwartz's defense is it really exposes your cornerbacks. Not in a bad way, it's not cornerback friendly.
No, these guys on islands.
Correct.
And it works when you have guys that put pressure on the quarterback. When you don't, then you leave your guys on the island. I don't care who you are. If you have to cover DK Metcalf for 6 seconds, you're in trouble.
Correct.
If you have to cover him for 2, it's a different story.
I agree. Number 9. Go ahead. Start us off, Shelly. We'll go back around the curb the other way.
Going Marcus Peters from Baltimore.
He was my 11.
I think he's a little bit more of the wild card out of the two in Baltimore. Takes a little bit more chances.
Love the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
Love his attitude.
Plays with intensity.
Love him stealing people's chains.
Yeah. He's definitely a guy you would rather play with than against. He's definitely one of those guys. So I went Peters for number 9.
My number 9 is James Bradberry for the Giants. I know a lot of people are really high on James Bradberry. I need to see him do it for a little bit of a longer extent. This actually the one guy on my list that I probably watched the most today. I'm not as high on him as other people are, but the kid can play. So he is a top 10 corner in this league right now. I think he's going to have probably a good year with the Giants. So I have him at 9 for me.
I like that. I have him really close to you. I have Marshawn Lattimore at 9. Marshawn Lattimore went like a nosedive on most people's lists. I still think he's a very elite corner. I have to put him at 9 now because I have to mix what he did last year and how kind of not exposed, but he didn't have a best year versus what I think he is. So it's like a prediction type thing. But I have him 9. I have Marshawn Lattimore 9. My number 8 is James Bradberry.
Okay.
Bradberry now has a counterpart over there. The Giants signed Adoree Jackson to be his counterpart. I think that you'll know a lot about Bradberry after this year. See, when you have one good cornerback on a team, the defense, you tend to get a little overrated. And I'm not saying Bradberry's overrated, but you tend to get a little overrated because if you have a bad corner on the other side, it doesn't matter. You're just not going to throw it. Bradberry's a good corner.
Yep.
I don't know how good he is. I'll find out this year when he has another good corner on the other side with Adoree Jackson. So you're number 8, Shelly?
I have Lattimore number 8.
We just swapped.
Echo a lot of the things you said. I think he's a lot better than he played last year, for sure. But that being said, he didn't have a good year for his standards last year. He did struggle a little bit, struggled a lot deep too, which is surprising to me because it was such a strength for him for so long. He's got a lot of other stuff going on, so I just hope he's on the field this year. But this could end up being a did not play type thing, depending on what happens with his.
I just tagged Dante. I'm hoping he can give me his top 10 list. I'm very interested in it.
He's sure, isn't he?
My number 8. My number 8 is also Marshawn Lattimore. I'm going to echo everything that you guys have said already. Plus, the one thing with Marcus Lattimore too is that he was in a division that arguably had the best total receivers out of any division in the league. You got Julio, you got Mike Evans, you got AB Godwin, you got DJ Moore,
Robbie Anderson.
Like that division is deep. So I think a lot of that kind of played into it. Plus, the Saints were kind of playing who's who when they were in their secondary. Like if it wasn't for Marcus Williams up top, they had Jack Rabbit on the other side, but they were plugging and playing guys all year. You had
Jack
PJ
Rabbit stinks.
Yeah, exactly. So
he stinks.
He's bad. You got PJ Williams who's mixing in, who's not that good either.
You want to talk about an overrated
Patrick Robinson
for his career?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? A guy that won a Super Bowl and got paid.
Yeah.
It's another one. But yeah, Jack Rabbit stinks. He does. Stunk when he was with St. Louis. Stunk when he was with the Giants, and he stinks on New Orleans. Stinks. He runs his mouth a lot. That's it. Sorry. Not sorry. Did everybody give 8?
Yes.
Yes.
So number 7, Cottrell.
My number 7 is something that's gonna. This is the first big surprise on everybody. My number 7 is Marlon Humphrey from the Ravens.
Jesus.
Okay, it's not a big surprise to me. I guess you'll find out shortly why.
Marlon Humphrey is great at man-to-man coverage. You'll notice the trend with my list. I love the guys that can play man-to-man, that follow your number one receiver. Marlon Humphrey's a guy who we see 2 times a year in Cleveland, and he will stick to you like glue. I just have a slight edge for my 6 ahead of him, but Marlon Humphrey is – I understand if you have him as a top 5 corner in the league.
I get it too. I don't disagree with your point, though. I think Marlon Humphrey's a little overrated on most lists. And you'll find out shortly where I have him. I obviously have to have him on my list. Shally, number 7.
I got Charles Boy, number 7. I have Denzel Ward. Again, I think his best years are probably still ahead of him. I think that's the one promising thing about him on this list. I think in another year or 2, he's going to be higher up this list. I think he's improving where some guys are either, staying where they are or maybe even starting to regress a little bit. He's one of the guys on this list that's absolutely rising. Big thing with him is he's got to stay healthy. He gets a little knocked around sometimes, but he's good. He's athletic. I mean, he can cover anybody. I mean, he's proven that. It's just you got to stay on the field and he's got to keep doing it. So some of these guys ahead of him are doing it for years and years. But I mean, I like him. I like the way he plays. And I think he's going to shine even more this year. That defense is going to be very good.
2 quick things. One, I want to remind everybody at home that this is a predictions for the 2021 season.
Yep.
Number 2, I also want to remind everybody at home that we do not know each other's picks.
No.
And it is hilarious to me how spot on we are with some of them, like the same picks. But this one, I'm pretty sure I'll get grief for. That's fine. My number 7 is Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore is a top 10 cornerback in the league. He's a very good cornerback. I just think his best years are behind him. I do. I think Stephon Gilmore, when we were going into last season, could have been ranked number 1. This season, I have him 7.
My thing with Stephon Gilmore, and I'll get more into it, once he pops up on my list, is that he played for a team last year that he didn't really want to play for. All their best guys were out, and
he could have opted out. What do you mean didn't want to play for?
Yeah, but he wanted to get traded.
He's still going to get traded.
Yeah, probably.
He'll get traded before the season starts.
Most likely.
And then he won't look as good outside Bill's scheme. Sorry, I think 7's good for him. I don't think it's bad. I think he's a good cornerback.
I hear you.
I have 6 ahead of him, and all 6 of them I just think have their better days ahead.
That's fair.
One of them, that's a lie. One of them is just elite.
Okay.
So you guys all gave 7, so I'll start with 6. My 6 is Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is very good man-to-man corner. I think to be top 6 in the league is incredible. Nothing against him. There's nothing bad I could say about Marlon Humphrey. I just think that the 5 ahead of him are better. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
6 is good. 6 is really good. Marlon Humphrey got beat on a couple big moves, big double moves last year. 2 of them in particular, I just can't get out of my head. That's why I can't put him in my top 5. What do you got, Bill?
Xavier Howard from Miami. Kind of tossed and turned with where I was going to put him on this list. I think he's talented. I think he plays. I think he's the benefit of you talked about benefit of schemes. They play a ton of zone in Miami. Granted, being in the right place at the right time is still a skill. I'm not going to say it's not, but again, I'm going to take a guy that's going to run up and down the line and switch sides and mark you man-to-man every play versus something that I'm going to take that's going to drop back in zone. So, again, he had a breakout year last year. Everybody knows who he is now. Everybody knows his name. Curious to see what he does this year. But again, he's a very important player on a very, very good defense on what's going to probably be a very good football team this year. So 6 for me is Howard from Miami.
My number 6 is also Xavier Howard for literally everything that you just said. I mean, when you take the ball away 10 times, there's no way that you're not in the top 10. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care what defense that you're playing. There's a lot of teams that just play primarily zone coverage, and they're not taking the ball away 10 times. Xavier Howard can play, but like I said earlier, my list, I like the guys that bump and run. They'll follow your number one no matter where they're at and take them out of the game. So that's why Xavier wasn't in my top 5, but he's right there at 6 for me.
That's fair. I mean, everybody, I think your top 10 corners, maybe at least top 7, are all legit stars. It's just what you prefer. It's like your mix and match.
And depending on what kind of year they have, all of them have the potential to be the number one at the following year. So
yep, I agree. So you gave your last 6, so give me your number 5.
My number 5 is the guy out of Cleveland, number 21, my former teammate Denzel Ward. He does everything you want him to do. He's not afraid to tackle. He's somewhat undersized weight-wise, but he will cover whoever, no matter how big they are. He'll go make the tackle in the run game. He'll go tackle tight ends, doesn't care. And he has really good ball skills. And I do get on him a little bit I want him to take the ball away a little bit more, but him breaking up his pass coverage is just one of the best in the league. So got to go with Denzel Ward for number 5.
I have Denzel Ward also at number 5. I have him at number 5 because this is a prediction show, 2021 predictions, and I'm predicting that he stays healthy this year. I'm predicting that the Cleveland Browns have a top 5 defense in football this year. And if they have the defense that I think they're going to have this year, with the addition of John Johnson, with the addition of linebacker from Notre Dame, always forget his name.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Koramoah.
With all those additions, I think Denzel Ward is a top 5 corner.
And the one thing, too, Denzel stayed healthy last year. I mean, outside of having COVID, he actually...
Yeah, but COVID missed 2 games and then...
Yeah. No, I understand. But, I mean, COVID is hopefully it's just a freak thing and it won't happen again. You know, there was no, muscle injury or anything like that.
Yeah, I know, but you have that, lasting effect when you have it. A little tiresome.
Did he miss one game because of, a hamstring or something? I feel like he missed another one for something else.
I mean, he may have missed one, but it wasn't, a lingering thing like it had been the first few years of his career.
Gotcha.
Who's your number 5?
Number 5 for me is Tre'Davious White in Buffalo. This is where my list started to get really kind of, you guys have both said it. I think you can make a case for all these guys from 6 to 2. I think we probably all have the same number 1, but
nope.
All right, maybe not then. But I think this is where it starts getting a little, kind of what Gene said, what you prefer, what you value, because these guys are all studs. They're all cornerback 1 on any team they go on, pretty much. So for me, I think he benefits a little bit of maybe having the best pair of safeties in the league behind him. But he's another one. He's on the same track as Denzel Ward for me. He's still getting better. He's a young kid. So I love everything he does. He's physical. He's fast. Same kind of thing. I wish he'd have more interceptions, but he only plays one side of the field, so I think it will hurt me a little bit with him. But I love him. I love the way he plays. And, again, Buffalo's another one. They're going to have a very good defense this year.
So, with that saying, go give me your number 4.
4 for me is...
That's what he said. Trey White.
No, that was number
5. Oh, that was my 5.
He's the last 5 and the first 4.
Gotcha.
Man, I got this. It's like a NFL snake draft. I got it. Let your boy handle it. I'm just kidding.
4 for me is Mr. Marlon Humphrey from Baltimore. We talked about him at nausea already. He's good.
At nausea?
I mean, we talked. He's come up 3 times already. I think he's probably the most aggressive corner on this list, maybe. And to your point, Gene,
second,
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
For you.
Yeah, it does. It does bite him sometimes in the ass. But he's a dog, man. He's
tough kid.
Tough kid. And he wants the challenge. He wants to line up across the line from Julio. He doesn't want to go to the other side of the field and cover, their number 2 guy. He wants to be on the number 1 guy. So, Baltimore's very fortunate with the corners they have, but he's number 4 for me.
My number 4, I'm a little high on him than most people. Is Trey Day. Give me Tre'Davious White. Love Tre'Davious White over in Buffalo. I think Tre'Davious White is dominant. I think that when he lines up versus your number 1 wide receiver, that number 1 wide receiver is having a bad football game. Tre'Davious White, especially in all those games in Buffalo, all those shootouts, because how many points that offense put up, had a lot of pressure put on him last year because teams were constantly behind Josh Allen in that offense. Tre'Davious White, yes, I would like to see more turnovers. I agree with you. But shut down. Listen, if you take out the DeAndre Hopkins miracle catch that he made, Tre'Davious White gave up 2 touchdowns last year. 2. The whole year.
I mean, I don't know how that one's really on him either. 8 people within
It was
2
his
feet of the
primary
ball,
coverage.
I guess.
I agree.
That's a crap stat.
Hey, giving up 2 touchdowns, 3 all year, 2.
I'm saying him getting charged for that's a crap stat.
I get it.
Not that he only gave up 2.
Okay, so I will start with number 4. Number 4, you.
My number 4 is somebody that this is going to be another shock. My number 4 is Jair Alexander from the Packers.
Oh,
Jair is
get out of here.
He's incredible. The 3 guys I have ahead of him, I like him a little bit more. Jair is a guy he's going to stick your number 1 receiver like glue, and you really saw it in the playoffs. But I got 3 guys that are going to have better years than him.
I don't know how. You're talking about a guy that's ascending so much. I get it. Everyone has a title to their own opinion. But you're talking about a guy that's ascending so much, and last year was his best year ever, and he's still super young. I think, okay, that's fine. So we've all given number 4. Start us with number 3.
My number 3 is a guy that you guys both just mentioned, Tre'Davious White. I absolutely love Tre'Davious White. He's physical. He is literally what, outside of my number 1, he is exactly what I want in my number 1 cornerback. He is aggressive. He is physical. He is going to reroute receivers. He's going to jam them. He's going to do everything you need from him. Yes, I do. Of course, I want more takeaways. If the receivers aren't catching the ball, though, and you're breaking up everything that comes to you and you're not allowing touchdowns on your side of the field, I want you as one of my top 3 guys.
Number 3, Bill? I'm going to do the 3-2 thing because I'm going to wrap around this time.
I have Gilmore from New England. I know you guys both talked about him earlier. My big thing with him is, we talk about how defenses, have to play together, and if one unit doesn't do their job, it makes it harder in the corners. He played on a team last year where their entire starting front 7 opted out of football. As your entire defensive line, your entire middle linebackers. And he still didn't have a terrible year. He just didn't have a good Gilmore year. That's the one thing. If you listen to anybody describe his year from last year, they're like, oh, he was a down year for him. It's still a better year than pretty much, everybody but a handful of cornerbacks had last year. I think with everybody back this year, assuming he stays there, I think he's going to go right back to where he was. I think he's going to have a very good year.
Rob said something on ECG a couple weeks ago when he was talking about Stephon Gilmore, that even though he had an off year, he still did not allow more than 4 catches to the top 5 receivers he faced, which I think is incredible. I just want to mention that. Once again, prediction list though. Not saying his greatness. I have him 7 this year, going 4. I think he's on the downslide. My number 3 is Xavier Howard, and Xavier Howard had the most takeaways at the cornerback position in the NFL, and he's only getting better. Talking about another young guy that's 100% going to dominate the NFL. This kid on that defense is going to continue. And you know what? One thing I look for in corners, and you'll notice this in 3, 2, and 1, are guys that can attack the football and actually create offense off of defense. Xavier Howard does that, and he is absolutely going to be a top 5 cornerback this year. I have no doubt in my mind. I think Xavier Howard could be 1 come next year. Could be 2. I really love Xavier Howard. I'm a huge fan of his. Yeah, give me number 3.
My number. I already gave my number 3.
That's my number 2 wraparound. Sorry.
Thought you got it.
Yes, I did. My number 2 is Jalen Ramsey. Talk about a guy that will stick your best receiver. Talk about a guy that will shut them down, and he'll do it while talking shit. I love that about him. He was recently on a podcast, and they were asking him about who the toughest receivers were for him to cover were. Mm-hmm. And he said Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, and DK Metcalf, was it? But he notoriously left off Devontae Adams.
Of course.
And he left him out because Devontae Adams scored a touchdown versus him in the playoffs after a huge shit-talking match. What a lot of people won't talk about is Devontae Adams had 1 catch for 9 yards that game.
Yep.
Or 1 catch for 3 yards, whatever that touchdown was. This is the only catch of the game. Jalen Ramsey is unbelievable. He's an elite cornerback. He's been the best cornerback in the league for the last 4 years. And I don't think there's much debate. Outside the year he pushed himself out of Jacksonville, he's been the best cornerback in the league.
Yep.
From Jacksonville to LA, he's absolutely unbelievable. Give me your number 2, Control.
My number 2 is guy that both of you have earlier on your list. My number 2 is Stephon Gilmore. I think he's going to have that. He's going to have a bounce back year this year. He is the last time that he played a full season, he was the defensive MVP. So there's been 2 MVPs that played cornerback in the past 20 years, and he was one of them. The other one was Charles Woodson, who's going to the Hall of Fame. So I think Stephon Gilmore, his best years of football aren't behind him. He just has to have the right defense around him. He's in that Patriots system, and for now at least, and he's going to have his front 7 back. If they trade him and he goes to another system, depending on where he goes, I still think he can have one of the best seasons out there for a cornerback. This is a guy who's going to stick your number 1 corner, and he's going to limit him. So give me Stephon Gilmore.
I'm going to argue that because both you guys put Stephon Gilmore 2 and 3. Stephon Gilmore is right now the second best cornerback that will leave the NFL that's currently playing.
What do you mean?
Jalen Ramsey will finish as like a greater cornerback when his career is over, in my opinion.
Okay.
So Stephon Gilmore's greatness, I am not arguing.
Okay.
But for anybody to act like this kid's not on the downside of his career at 30 years old, turning 31 in September, you're kidding yourself, guys. You're kidding yourself.
Why are we kidding? 2 years ago, he was the MVP, defensive MVP at 28 years old. MVP, going on 29. I don't want to say that he's literally on the downside of his career because last year he played with a team that he didn't want to play with that was missing their front 7 guys.
Want to play with thing.
He asked for a trade. Out. He asked for a trade. He requested a trade and didn't get it.
I think that the Patriots scheme, it fits him perfectly. I think that if he gets traded, he's going to look even worse.
I can't say the Patriots scheme fits him perfectly because he's a man-to-man corner. He's going to follow the top guy. If Bill wants him on the number 2, he'll put him on the number 2.
What Bill does in most scenarios,
I know they put the best corner on the number 2 and they doubled the number 1. I understand.
Correct.
I understand how the Patriots play defense, but you can stick Stephon Gilmore. You can stick Stephon Gilmore on the number 1 receiver, and he's going to take him out the game.
Give me number 2.
I have Jair Alexander from Green Bay. He's the 3rd kid on the list that I've mentioned. He's on his way up. I think he's still getting better. I don't think he's hit his peak yet. I don't think he's the best corner in the league yet. I think he's all the ability and the skill in the world and talent to get there. You need to see it over a longer period of time. But I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I think the kid's great. He has a great attitude. Hopefully Green Bay can continue to keep that defense together and, he can keep growing and getting better. But he very easily could be number 1 next year.
So who's your number 1?
Jalen Ramsey, most elite corner in the league. I think it's him, and I think it's everybody else. I think
Do you think there's a gap?
There's a gap.
Okay.
I think 2 through 6. I think between.
Petey wants to know why we don't have Cravon LeBlanc. Got you to laugh.
Petey. I think 2 through 6. I think no matter where you slot them, I think you can make arguments. We've all done that. I think we had the same, for the most part, we had the same mix of kids, just all in different spots.
2 through 7. I have Gilmore 7.
Okay. And I think me and Cottrell would argue that's extremely low, but
I think 2's too high.
I think that's fair. I think there's Ramsey. And I think there's a gap. I think with Ramsey, you kind of touched on all of it. He'll talk shit when he's motivated and he wants to play. There is nobody better. I don't think there's anybody close. He's an absolute lockdown number 1 shutdown guy. If you can take Devontae Adams and limit him to 1 catch for 9 yards in a playoff game, that tells you all you need to know. There's nobody else on this list capable of doing that.
I think there is one guy on this list that's capable of doing that, and I think that kid's name is Jair Alexander. Jair Alexander is 24 years old, and you guys will notice when I do these lists, I really take age and growth into my predictions. Now, obviously, it's bit me in the ass this year when Soto batting 282. My point being is...
Ted?
Well, listen, I have next year, too, when he was 23. But
Ted?
I will tell you this. I think Jair will be... he easily could be the number 1 cornerback in the NFL for the next 10 years. 5 years. Let's not say 10. Let's say 5.
So you just said Gilmore was done at 30. Now you're telling me Jair's going to be number 1 at 34.
24 years old, and the kid's ascending.
Agreed.
He had an incredible NFC playoff run. Had 2 interceptions in the NFC title game. Was the only guy on that defense that showed up that day. Kevin King definitely didn't.
I wouldn't say that. Kevin King obviously didn't. I wouldn't say the rest of the defense didn't show up.
Didn't they let up like 35 points?
to the best quarterback in the history of the game with a loaded offense.
Jair Alexander was as shut down as it gets last year, and he did it in Green Bay with a team that does not get after the quarterback. We talked about this earlier when we talked about who has to play coverage longer. Oh, Darius Slay. When we talked about Darius Slay, we talked about the guys that can't get at the quarterback. The Eagles didn't get the quarterback last year, so Darius Slay looked bad. The Packers do not get after the quarterback. They stop the run, but they do not get after the quarterback that well. And still, Air Jair shut down the opposition the entire year. I think he's the best cornerback in football. And
my number one. All right, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have more?
Yeah. Go
ahead. I thought you were done.
I like it. Yeah, give me another one.
My number one is Jalen Ramsey.
Are you done?
All the reasons both of you already said. The one thing with Ramsey, and I think this is what's going to hurt Jair in the rankings, is that Jalen's only 26. I just got a feeling that Jalen's going to keep doing it at a high level, so that's why he's going to be number one for me.
Okay.
Jalen's on the throne until somebody takes it from him. For me.
All right, wrap up time. So let's get into wrap up. We have a couple quick things we want to go over. We have our list, obviously. We're going to do linebackers next week. You got to be kidding me. So let's get into it, and then we'll give final thoughts. Trell, I'll start with yours.
For my final thoughts?
You got to be kidding me.
Oh, my you got to be kidding me. So my you got to be kidding me this week is England disgracing Marcus Rashford's mural and repeatedly sending him racial and death threats. So for you guys who don't know, the Euro Cup wrapped up this past week. Italy won. It was 1-1 after time was up. They went to PKs, and Italy ultimately won 3-2. Marcus Rashford was one of the guys that missed the PK, and people in England were sending him death threats, calling him different racial names and things like that, disgracing his mural. I just thought that was an extremely low blow for them, and he wasn't the only one that missed a kick during the PKs. There was two other guys that missed it as well. So for that this week, England.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Mike and Jamie, I want to apologize to both of you guys because we're going a little over. I definitely have something for you, so don't worry. But Bill, go ahead.
Back to your thing. It's really heartbreaking when you factor in what he's accomplished over the last year and a half since being in England. He plays for Manchester United, if you're not aware. He started a program that's pretty much taking on the job of almost what the government does and doing a better job of it, of feeding kids that don't know where their next meal is coming from in England. It's just disgusting. As much as as the football players or soccer players, are revealed over there, the racism with white English fans it's out of hand. This isn't the first time they've had an issue with it either. It's just disgusting. It needs to get better. It's just another example of just
completely agree with you.
Just
Bill.
needs stuff to get. My you gotta be kidding me this week's kind of fun.
This is amazing. This is so good.
Saturday night, me and Gene are over our buddy Adrian's house watching the fights.
This is
I finally got to meet Kevin the Troll. He walked in. We're all sitting there having discussions, having fun. Out of nowhere, we're talking about basketball, and he, because he wants the 2-on-2 thing. He comes out with the statement that he would not only beat but dominate Diana Taurasi 1-on-1. So we started to ask him, like, I literally looked at Gene. The first thing I said is he being for real, or is this like troll Kevin? Like, which he's like, no, he's dead serious. So we talked about it. Not only did he say that he would beat her, he said he would dominate her. He said that she wouldn't be able to stop him, that he was a better athlete than her. It just kept getting worse and worse. It got so bad that Adrian actually got up out of his own house and went outside because he didn't want to listen to it anymore because it was so bad.
He said he was going to throw him out of the house.
He threw him out of the house. Listen, I know we have fun with this, and I know you truly do believe you would beat Ronda Rousey in a fight, but people that make these statements, she is debatably the best female basketball player ever. She's she's a way better athlete. She's just a better basketball player.
She's actually taller than him too.
She is taller than him. It is it's one of those things, again, this is right up there with yours. I wish we could make it happen because the embarrassment that would happen to him if this was actually ever shown on TV, he'd have to move to a different country. Like I don't know what would happen. So for me this week, Kevin the Troll, we just made you famous. You're not going to beat the best female basketball player ever one-on-one. She's going to dominate you, make you look silly. So for this week, Kevin the Troll.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
That is so amazing. Mine's quick. Mine's USA. So a couple I really debate on, but mine's got to be USA basketball. So first of all, if you don't know, USA basketball lost their first 2 Olympic games, lost their first back-to-back games since 1988.
Exhibition games.
Exhibition games. Well, back-to-back exhibition games.
You said Olympic games.
No, I said games, basketball games.
You said Olympic games. Good.
Then they started blaming the referees because it's a different type of calling fouls. And they, Jason Tatum went as far as staring down a referee. Look, I don't mean to be a smart ass when I say this, but if you are worried about the referees when you're playing Nigeria and losing to Nigeria in Olympic basketball, when their best player is not starting on an NBA roster, you have to be out of your mind. I heard that comment and I was just blown away. Australia's best player is Matisse Thybulle. Guys, if me, Cottrell, and Bill played against 3 6-year-olds in basketball, I don't care if their parents are the refs. And get every call in the book. We shouldn't lose the game. And that's as comparable as this crap is. Matisse Thybulle is the best player in Australia. And they lost to Australia by 10 points. Nigeria, Precious Achua blocks Kevin Durant. I want to talk about a play to make that kid famous.
Then called him out afterwards.
Good. I love the Instagram post.
Told him he wasn't that guy.
Wasn't that guy.
You're not that guy. Look, I'm going to make it real simple. For me, it's USA basketball for losing 2 exhibition games and then blaming it on the refs.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Got a couple quick final thoughts. Bill, start us off.
All right, so 2 things real quick. Wimbledon, something else the show got right. I literally had Novak over Berrettini in the final, and that's what it was. This is significant only because that now gives Novak Djokovic 20 Grand Slams. He's now tied with Nadal and Federer. The other reason it's significant is he owns the first 3 of the year. So we're going to go to Flushing Meadows for the U.S. Open the end of August. If he wins that.
Same year Grand Slam.
Same year Grand Slam. That has not been done since 1969 when Rod Laver did it. So that is a big deal. I'm actually going this year. If you guys want to go, more than welcome to come.
It's like ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Yeah, it is. It is so much fun. I've talked about it on the show numerous times. Second thing, real quick, 149th British Open, or just the Open that they call it now, starts actually this morning. Starts like 1:30 in the morning. They're in a town called Sandwich, England. That's the name of the town. They're playing Royal
Turkey and cheese.
Turkey and cheese. They're playing Royal St. George, which is kind of like a quirky course. It's not that long. So if guys hit it straight and putt well, again, the best thing about the British Open is always what it comes down, what the weather is. If it's windy and raining sideways, that's what we all want. Agreed. That's what makes the British Open great. So I'm sticking with my same predictions as I did for the U.S. Open. I think either John Rahm or Brooks Koepka are going to win. I know that's kind of going chalk because they're the top 2 favorites. They're just playing better golf than everybody right now. They're the only ones I trust consistently. They're both long enough that they're not going to have to hit a driver on a lot of these holes. So if those 2 guys are hitting out of fairways all day, probably going to be tough to beat. I got 2 long shots. I got Lee Westwood, which is a local hometown guy. He's plus 4,700. And then I got my man Mark Leishman plus 6,000. Any combination of these guys, especially Rahm and Brooks, you can still get them plus 120, plus 150 to finish in the top 10. I'm not going to call it a lock, but I'd be shocked if those guys aren't there. So to add to your parlay or whatever, great value bets. I know you guys have picks too. So
I just have Rory odds 16-1.
Yep.
And my long shot's Tommy Fleetwood at 33-1. I know he's like the 10th favorite in the tournament, but 33-1's too low for Tommy Fleetwood. Do you have a pick for that?
Yeah, I got Justin Thomas.
Okay.
Justin Thomas like 4th on the list. I'm going with Justin Thomas.
And do you have a final thought with?
I do have one thing. If you
go
don't
last.
Okay, I'll go last.
For that one.
Okay.
Because I know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
Control?
So another thing that's going on this upcoming week, you got the basketball tournament, or TBT as most people know it. Basically, it's a $2 million tournament where they get 64 teams. It's a lot of teams that are former alumni of big name schools. The biggest, well, not the biggest, but the number 1 seed, Carmen's Crew. They won in 2019. That was, I got 3 teams I want to just give a quick little thing about. Carmen's Crew, they won in 2019. Aaron Kraft and David Lighty are the 2 notables there. You got Blue Collar U, that's Buffalo's alumni team. That was a team that upset Arizona in the MAC tournament, in the NCAA tournament. You got CJ Massenberg, Nick Perkins, and Jeremy Harris. They're all really good players. I think they have a shot to win it all. And then the other team that I think has a chance to win it all is Challenge ALS. They have a YouTube star in Devontae Frigga, and they have Jerome Randall, who's a former All-American at Cal. So I think that team has really good shot. They're like a 4 seed, and I think they could potentially win that tournament.
I have the winner.
I know you got to pick 2.
How many teams are there? 32?
64.
Oh, 64.
Eberlein Drive. They've gotten better and better, and this is their best team that they have yet.
They're a 1 seed. Yep.
They are going to win this tournament. Eberlein Drive. Listen, I'm a big overseas elite guy from a few years ago.
They're not playing.
I know. Eberlein Drive wins this tournament. And any other final thoughts?
Nope, that's it for me.
I do not have final thoughts this week because Bills is too important. And that should be the end of the show. So, Bill?
All right, so real quick, we've talked about on the show numerous times. Me and Gene kind of all belong to the same softball family. So there is a beef and beer this week for to benefit the mother of somebody I've become very good friends with, both Chris Hezen and Tina Hezen, his wife. Tina's kind of become my default drinking buddy at all our SBA parties. But what happened was Chris Hezen's mom's house caught on fire about a month and a half ago. Pretty much destroyed the house, destroyed all her belongings. Everything is pretty much gone. So to help her get back on her feet, help her get her house back in order, just general money towards everything she needs in life right now to help her out. They're holding a beef and beer for her this Saturday night at the Chestnut Hill Bocce Club. Tickets are only $20. That's even if you get them at the door. Everything that they can donate is going strictly towards her to help her get back on her feet. There's going to be a bunch of 50-50s, gift baskets, pretty much standard fare for any kind of charity thing you go to. Anybody that wants to donate, I'm going to put all the information up on my page, my personal Facebook page if you're friends with me, also on the show page. If you want to donate, there will be information, links there if you just want to donate if you can't attend. If you want to attend, it'll be a great time. I promise there'll be a lot of cool people there. It'll be a lot of fun, and you will be really helping a very, very nice lady out. Help her try to put, what she can of her house and her life back together. So, like I said, I'll put all the information up there. If you could spare $20, $10, whatever it is, please donate, help out. I promise you, they are great people. They've become good friends of mine over the course of the year. So any help that our audience can give would be very, very greatly appreciated. So,
Bill, that's a real perfect way to close the show. Hez is a great guy. His family's awesome. So we're us going to wrap up show 40. Show 40, man. 40 shows in the books. We got some big, big things continuing to come forward. And the only final thought I'll leave with is we went with the video games. We'll have the bracket next week. Other than that, Wire2Wire, show 40. Sign out.